Lately, it's cold. I'm in my bed. This copy is like actually hitting so close to home. The copy is like, I'm living in my bed. And it's like, wait, how did you know? Like, I'm like kind of like looking around being like, Helix, are you here? How did you know that I've been also living in my bed? And this copy says I don't mind it. I don't mind it either. I'm not embarrassed. It's my Helix is it's comfortable. I love my bed.
My Helix bed.
I've created a really perfect like cocoon of my Helix mattress and all sorts of blankets and comforters, and it's just very cozy, you know. And when I sleep well, everything about my day is better, especially if I stay in the bed for most of the day. Then I'm like, wow, this day rocks. Before Helix, I dealt with all the usual stuff, tossing, turning, overheating at night. Switching to Helix genuinely changed that. I've had mine for a while now, actually a long time, and my sleep is deeper, more consistent, and way more comfortable. What I love is how easy Helix makes the whole process.
I co-sign. I love my Helix. I took the sleep quiz. It got me the Helix that I love. You can take it too. They'll match you with the right mattress for your body and sleep style. I don't know if you're stomach, back, side. I'm side stomach. They're also the most awarded mattress brand with free shipping, a 120-night sleep trial, and a limited lifetime warranty. So it's truly risk-free. Go to helixsleep.com/who for 27% off site-wide. That's helixsleep.com/who for 27% off site-wide. Make sure you enter our show name after checkout so they know we sent you. helixsleep.com/who.
You will dream it.
Yo, they wanna know.
Hey.
Come on.
Hey. I want to be famous.
Welcome to Who Weekly, the podcast where you'll learn everything you need to know about the celebrities you don't. I'm Bobby Finger.
I'm Lindsay Weber.
And today we're doing something a little bit different. We're giving you a preview of the Who Weekly Patreon content. Who Weekly VIP is the name of the show.
Who Weekly VIP,
which is available on Patreon and Apple Podcasts.
For very important people who decide to pay us extra.
I know.
Listen, this is a preview of the kind of things that you're getting over on the Patreon. Where we're looser. We're doing criticism. We're talking about the culture.
We're taking calls from a different number.
We're taking calls from a different VIP number where people are asking questions that honestly they have no business asking us otherwise.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really exciting. It's a really different format, and sometimes we like to break the fourth wall by saying, "Here is the Patreon for you on the main feed for free." To get a taste.
Yeah. It's not the full episode from Sunday, but it's a lot of it.
It's a lot of it. Where we talked about Wuthering Heights.
Wuthering Heights and America's Next Top Model.
That's what we're putting here. But we also, if for the extended episode on the Patreon, we talked about Traders.
We talk about Cynthia Erivo as Dracula 23 times.
We're going to keep that separate. If you want to go listen to the rest, you go listen to the rest. But right now you're getting a taste, and this is what
we talk about Lana's new album.
Tastes like.
Lana's new song, in case you want to hear about that. Love Story. We can't stop talking about Love Story.
So those are the types of things you're getting. Just the conversation.
Yeah.
But today on the main episode, we are sharing with you a bit of that episode.
Mm-hmm.
So enjoy.
Hi, Lindsay, Bobby. Long time, sometimes. I went to Wuthering Heights with my friend today, and Margot Robbie's drunk dad commented on her gewgaws, and I immediately thought of you guys and how Aurora was positively bedecked in gewgaws. And that's my broken brain today. Congratulations on your book. Crunch, crunch.
Just saw Wuthering Heights. Add me to the montage of people who knew what gewgaws was because of your guys' coverage of the Gilded Age. Crunch, crunch. Me and the Moors.
They said gewgaws in Wuthering Heights.
Did it hurt when they said gewgaws and you knew what it? Were you like, I know what that is?
In my mind, I said, did you say gewgaws? And then you were like, gewgaws. You were like, gewgaws mentioned.
Gewgaws mentioned. One of my favorite words.
Gewgaws mentioned. Yeah, Wuthering Heights. Okay, here's my thing. I'm like, I hate being reactive to discourse and acting like it matters. Like, I'm sort of like, don't tell me I'm not allowed to dislike this movie. I keep seeing it more and more and more, not only on Letterboxd, but on Twitter. And it's like people being like, everyone's being insane about this movie. Why are they being so negative? It's totally fine. And I'm seeing that over and over again. And it's my fault for looking at social media. But I'm like, don't tell me I'm not allowed to think a movie sucks.
Why is it's totally fine okay too? Like,
yeah.
Why can't it, like, it's not good. So it's not.
I don't care if you think it's totally fine. My problem is when you tell me that I'm being performative when I say it sucked. If it had been up to me, I would have walked out of the movie, but I had to watch it for this thing. I don't walk out of movies. I would have walked out of this movie.
You would have walked out?
I was so bored. I thought
boring.
It was so ugly.
I mean, I did think it was so ugly. I mean, I really could not believe how ugly it was. And I was kind of struggling with like, well, does she want it to be ugly? And am I just like, is like well, it's like, well, she wants to be ugly. It's supposed to be gaudy. And I'm like, no.
But it was gaudy.
She actually
it wasn't gaudy in the right way.
She doesn't want it to be ugly. Like, she wants it to be. And then I saw like this video behind the scenes, like the tour of the set. I'm like, it's the ugliest set. It's the ugliest house. It's the ugliest clothing. Why period costuming works so well is because we forget how beautiful clothing was back then and could be. And that's why
like Gilded Age works.
Exactly. So why have her wear this like ugly ass cellophane dress when you could have found something so beautiful, like so equally. If your point was to show that stuff was gaudy, you could definitely find something gaudy that was like period accurate. Again, I don't care whether things are period accurate, but like I was just like, if you have no restrictions and it's still ugly, what the fuck are we doing?
And there were just so many moments.
The
tile, the subway tile in like the splatter room of Wuthering Heights. I was like,
ugly.
And they keep framing this house as though it's like the most architecturally impressive thing you've ever seen in the movies. Almost like Tim Burton-esque, like strange angles and weird. And I was like, but it's actually ugly.
The Linton House was very Tim Burton when they go down into the
and I thought it was
the topiaries.
And I thought it was the idea of having. I thought this was underutilized as well. Introducing Isabella's dollhouse and sort of sometimes being in there and sometimes being out there was like, this is a cool device, but they don't really use that as a device.
No,
it's just shown once. I thought it was an ugly movie. That was boring.
The problem was that it was boring.
I didn't think it was bad. I thought it was
boring.
Really,
and it
really
turns
boring.
A story about, Wuthering Heights is like remembered for being romantic, but it actually isn't. And when you reread it or read it for the first time, you remember how it's just about like two bad people kind of being bad to each other and then haunting each other. And the haunting is kind of the most important part. And the way that the story is told through the framing of other people's narratives is also the most important part. So like a lot of the book itself is about unreliable narrators and like who's telling the story and like taking that in consideration when you're reading it, which the movie does not have that framing, although does have an unreliable character in Hong Chau's character.
Yes,
Nellie, who in the book is one of the unreliable narrators who's telling the story. But then what it makes her in this movie is the villain, basically, because she's like manipulating the information to like fuck people over and stuff, which in the book is kind of debatable, but is less the point. The point is more her perspective in telling the story.
In the book, she's even more like powerful as like a manipulator than she is in the movie.
Yes.
But the movie changes kind of everything.
The book is her entire framing, but in the movie, she's, well, what I thought was really interesting was in the movie, she has them discussing Romeo and Juliet. Okay. And so they're talking about, she's telling the story of Isabella's saying, oh, I read this book, Romeo and Juliet, and what happens is like he gets the letter, he sends her the letter, she doesn't get the letter, and then it's a miscommunication. Like, she's
so
talking
tragic.
about the miscommunication, the tragedy of the miscommunication. And Emerald Fennell is like, I want people to know very specifically that that's the metaphor for their relationship, for like Heathcliff and Kathy. It's like there's a miscommunication. There's a miscommunication. Yes. There's information not being shared. Nellie is the go-between. She's not sharing things. There's things. That's not really what the book is about. And that's okay. And again, I'm not looking for a direct translation. Like a lot of things are left out on purpose, but that's what makes it a completely different movie, because it's about these two lovers who are kept apart so tragically by circumstance, versus like in the book it's really just about like generational like trauma being passed down, and the idea that you're haunted by this like lover, this like unrealized love of your life.
You're literally haunted.
I mean,
like there's ghosts in the book.
I mean, truly the best adaptation of Wuthering Heights is the Kate Bush song. I will stand by that. There is no better adaptation. Like, there is no better adaptation, because that song is about the haunting. Like the song is about like the ghost of your unrealized love of your life haunts you
and the generations that follow you,
and every child that comes from your loin, and everything that stems from your lineage, which is the creepiest thing ever. And that's why it's such a bummer that this movie doesn't even touch that, because that's what makes the story so scary and interesting.
Well, and also I finally listened to the full Charlie XCX Wuthering Heights album, which is great. It's committed to a sort of atmosphere and a vibe that is like really successful, and I just found it really compelling as like just like a piece of art inspired by a book. But it's inspired by a book. Like Charlie was like, I can read Wuthering Heights again or read it for the first time or whatever and write music about it. And a couple of those songs are going to be in the movie, but not all of them because they wouldn't fit in.
Well, what was funny was there was some songs that were like just a woman singing, like
just a woman singing.
And you were like, and I was kind of like, Charlie sounds great.
But like a Scottish, apparently we made the same joke to Fran, like within 5 seconds of each other.
I know, we both said Charlie
you
sounds great.
You said something to Fran and then Fran laughed and then I turned to Fran and I was like, Charlie sounds really weird. And Fran was like, Lindsay just said that. But what I'm coming to is fall in love again and again, fall in love again and again. Like that being in the trailer, and you hear that knowing the book, you're like, that is thematically what the movie is about.
And guess what rocked? The trailer.
Guess what rocks the trailer? And I was excited about this. I said it on the microphone. I was like, I want this movie to be good.
I want it to be good.
And Charlie's music captures the vibe that I thought the movie would have. But the movie doesn't match Charlie's music, which is why when you watch the movie, you're like, where's the Charlie XCX music? Because there's only like 2 songs in it. And I think the movie is aware of the fact that like those 2 things
are in it. Yeah.
I bet at some point, I'm just wondering, like, was it
they diverged or whatever?
But like, at what point in the process did Charlie deliver an album and did Emerald say, oh, I actually can't use this like I thought I could? Or did Emerald earnestly try to include it in the movie and then Warner Brothers was like, this doesn't work? Because I'm sort of confused as to why Charlie made all this music that's not there. Whose idea was it to cut it all out?
Well, it also is funny because Charlie's music was so good, but it's almost like Emerald's movie should have been had music that was like modern. Like it should have been like Love Story. Like it should have been like music that not from the time, like music, like modern music. Should have had like David
kind of when
Bowie
Marty Supreme plays New Order or whatever.
Totally.
Yeah.
Like it almost like the movie was made in the mind where it's completely out of time. Mm-hmm. Wuthering Heights in quotations, when my fingers are doing quotations, where it's like, this is my adaptation. This is my like take on it. And it's like fully modern. She's wearing cellophane, like, and the music is like Britney Spears Toxic. Yeah. I don't think, I mean,
like Marie Antoinette.
Like that. Whatever it is. Very Marie Antoinette. So it's like that. Okay, other failures of this movie aside from it being god awfully ugly, I mean, it's just like both leads are terrible. I'm sorry. Like I do not think that Jacob Elordi is good in this. Like I really don't. I think he's giving like Frankenstein's monster when he's doing his best work, and then I'm like, go watch Frankenstein, in which he's great.
I think it's just barely a performance. Like I sympathize with Margot because I think her character is written badly, and I felt bad every time she had to say a line because her lines were bad. And also, Jacob Elordi kind of doesn't do anything.
He got ate by his younger self. The adolescence kid ate him up.
Yeah, ate him up.
Ate him up. Young Kathy was good, but not as good as Adolescence Kid. That kid is amazing.
But I think Young Kathy was very good.
Yeah. But don't you think Adolescence Kid, I'm like,
Adolescence Kid was amazing.
I'm like, he's a star. He's duping. But that guy's, he's duping.
The beginning of the movie, I was compelled. I was like, oh, this is good.
Yeah, because he was duping.
He was duping. They're establishing this relationship well.
That's what I call when you're a good child.
Yeah. I also found it very weird that I didn't find it sexy. Really?
Well, right. Well, it's like, it's so funny where she's just like, yeah, I'm making sexy movies without sex. And it's like, okay, why? You know, like, it's like...
It's a rated R movie.
Like, why? And I do... It's right. It's like, make it sexy.
It's like what if I just watched, like, Pillion? There's asses. There's fucking. There's a dick. There's, like, whatever. Like,
well, just also...
Love story. There's movie, side boob.
So this movie starts with... But when they finally kiss in Love Story, that's sexy.
God.
Talk about sexy.
When she's like, no, don't. Yes.
Well, when he's like crying.
Oh
he's
my
like,
God. He's like, my mommy's dead. My mommy's dead. And Daryl's gone. And the dog's dead.
And that's just a kiss. Like, that's how you create tension. I mean,
yeah.
There's something, this movie has moments, I think, of good sexual tension. Mm-hmm. You know, under the bed, grabbing the ankle, like when he finally appears again and his hair's cut and he looks hot, like that was nice.
Earring,
like he got the one earring, but like you're right, there's nothing not connecting there. If anything, make it so that they never consummate, make it so they never, maybe they kiss one, you know, make it so that it doesn't actually come to fruition.
I don't have a problem with someone taking one of the most iconic pieces of literature ever and being like, I'm going to do my own spin on it.
Totally.
In fact, I think that's fun and I think that's admirable and I think more people should be doing that.
And this one was
but
just
it's
bad.
like, this one was just boring. It's like, if you're going to free yourself from the restraints of an actual novel's text, then like, don't you have fun with it? I didn't think this was actually very fun. And part of me, I want to give Emerald the benefit of the doubt and say like, maybe this was a studio thing. Maybe her first ideas were too weird, because Saltburn, I think, is really stupid, but I don't think Saltburn is boring. I think Saltburn is quite entertaining and fun to watch. I think it's kind of dumb as rocks, but it's fun to watch.
Did you like Promising Young Woman?
No, I actually think Promising Young Woman is like a disaster.
Okay.
And the willingness of people, and again, I shouldn't care about what strangers I do not know think on the internet, but it's like watching people say that any criticism of Wuthering Heights is due to our hatred of Emerald Fennell is so insufferable.
Sure, but like, this is a movie maker who I don't like. So it's not due to her. It's just, I know this is a person who makes film that I don't really enjoy. There are playwrights that I don't really enjoy their work. It's not, do I not
but
enjoy
you try to be objective.
Do I not enjoy their work when I see it because I don't like them? No, I just know in my mind this is someone who I'm usually not going to enjoy their work. I go into it with that knowledge. I don't think that this is that complicated, and I don't think that it's like every time I see an Emerald Fennell movie I have to like wipe my mind of her other work. Sorry, you exist within the context of the world. Who said that?
You exist in the Kamala Harris. You exist in the context of all in which you exist in the context of all in which you live and where you came before, or something like that.
Everything is in context. My mother she would give us a hard time sometimes, and she would say to us, I don't know what's wrong with you young people. You think you just fell out of a coconut tree? You exist in the context of all in which you live and what came before you.
I want to be famous.
Okay, everyone. Can we talk about bedrooms for a second? We could talk about bedrooms for minutes, for hours. Because Cozy is one of those brands you tell your friends about, like, wait, why didn't I do this sooner? Cozy's whole thing is making living easy. Who doesn't want living to be a little easier? Because living sucks. And honestly, Cozy furniture makes your whole home feel uniquely you, especially the bedroom. Life isn't one size fits all, and your home shouldn't be either. From sofas and shelves to rugs, tables, dining sets, and their brand new bedroom collection, everything is modular and designed to fit your space, taste, and life.
Their bedroom pieces are smart in that quietly genius way. Customizable layouts, hidden storage for all the random stuff that somehow lives in your room, and fabrics that are actually washable because real life happens. Cozy is practical by design and personalized by you. And if figuring out that layout stresses you out, they've got free design consultants who help you get the most out of your space. Easy to order, easy to ship, easy to put together, easy to maintain, choice without the luxury markup. Personalize your living space today with Cozy. Visit COZEY.com, the home of possibilities made easy.
Hey, psst. You didn't hear this from me, but Normal Gossip is back for its 9th season. Join me, Rachel Hampton, as I share the juiciest gossip from the real world with some very special guests. This season, we're bringing back some old friends, a Radiotopia buddy, and for the first time ever, a Nobel laureate. That's right. We have Malala on season 9. Normal Gossip is out on all your favorite podcast platforms.
This episode is brought to you by IQ Bar, our exclusive snack, hydration, and coffee sponsor. IQ Bar protein bars, IQ Mix hydration mixes, and IQ Joe mushroom coffees are the delicious, low-sugar brain and body fuel you need to win your day.
The new year is all about fresh starts, and IQ Bar is here to help you turn your frustration into fuel. Their ultimate sampler pack is the perfect way to try everything. 9 IQ bars, 8 IQ Mix sticks, and 4 IQ Joe mushroom coffee sticks. Everything is clean label certified, completely free from gluten, dairy, soy, GMOs, and artificial ingredients, so you know every bite and every sip is packed with ingredients that actually support your body and brain, like magnesium and lion's mane. Mm-hmm. Bobby, you were a really big fan of the IQ bars. I think you were eating one on mic, and I was like, stop.
I do like them. I think last time we recorded the ad, I said my favorite flavor was the banana one.
Yeah.
I think my favorite one now is the matcha one. It's like a matcha chai bar. It tastes like a matcha chai. It's very delicious. The new year gives us all a chance to reset. Maximize your brain and body's potential with IQ bars, protein bars, hydration mixes, and mushroom coffees. Their ultimate sampler pack includes all 3. And right now, IQ Bar is offering our special podcast listeners 20% off all IQ Bar products, including the Ultimate Sampler Pack, plus free shipping. To get your 20% off, text WHO to 64,000. Text WHO to 64,000. That's WHO to 64,000. Message and data rates may apply. See terms for details.
I want to be famous.
Emerald Fennell didn't fall out of a coconut tree. Like,
No.
I'm just like, she exists, whatever.
I'm just like, I'm not an idiot. I am a vaguely smart consumer of art.
Vaguely.
And
Vaguely?
just because I don't like something doesn't mean I'm being a little bitch over the person who created it.
Stop being reactive. Those people don't matter.
You're
They're
right.
not
I
here.
shouldn't be reactive. I
It's
try
like,
my best to
it's
not
like
be reactive.
the most offensive thing about this movie that it was boring. I have no. That's the worst. I think that's the worst thing I could say about a movie is that I was bored.
I was bored.
I can't.
Did you see how many times I checked my watch?
I
Oh
did-
no,
I-
you sat on the other side. But I was like, are we fucking kidding me?
Well, you. You were trying to get into it by doing your like little performative gasping just to get yourself revved up for it, but then it died out.
I was trying to be like an active participant in this audience.
You were.
I'd be
You
like,
were.
like
I know.
when she sits on the eggs for the first time.
Okay, also the eggs, I
mean, the eggs are in the book.
You're wasting the egg.
The eggs are in the book, and the eggs are
they?
funny in the book. Oh yeah, the eggs are in the book.
forgot.
And like, I understand why she wanted to put them in there, but you can't just assume that because something is sticky and oozy, it is inherently sexy.
You know how?
So it's like,
yeah.
just because you put your finger in a yolk doesn't
Well-
mean I'm horny for it.
Well, it's the texture of the.
You have to shoot it right. You have to.
Well, it's giving cum. Oh, sorry. What I was gonna say. Oh my god, million years ago about the sexuality of this movie. This movie opens with the sounds that you think are somebody having sex and they're dying.
Clever. Liked it. I liked
Listen,
it.
and then they open on this body hanging with the boner.
Loved it.
Huge dick. This sets a tone for the movie that is then never ever reached for again. The idea that sex and death are one and the same.
Yes.
Handshake.
These like primal things.
Right. And
Yeah.
it's we crave sex, we crave death. They're the same. The children are there watching. Everyone's disgusted. People are kind of horny for it. Blah, blah, blah. That could be good. Let's keep going.
When she's jerking off on the rock and then he watches her and then like sucks her finger, I was like, I'm in. Like, I like this. This is like R-rated. This is good.
Sure.
This is kind of vaguely shockingly sexy.
Okay, yeah.
Never again.
Well, I also
Never again.
kind of thought there was a part where she was
It's
like,
the dog stuff with
Kathy,
Isabel.
you're not going to go see the hanging today. It's a woman. I'm like, oh, interesting. Keep going with that. What? Like, nothing else.
Nothing else.
That was just like this throwaway line, but I was like, no, like back to that. The idea that was like entertainment. You know, I'm just like, I just felt like this movie had so many like things that were just like thrown out there, thrown at the wall, and then we're expected to stick hated, like made you wallpaper of your skin. Like this movie had so many like gross things that I feel like they thought were supposed to be titillating. Fingers in the
jello.
In the jello,
Gelatin.
in the mouth. I'm like, just for sensation's sake.
Yeah.
Like
For a
yeah, like the snail on
Slurp
the
noise.
window. Like it's just like it just had so many different things happening and not a through line. When if you're adapting something that already has a through line and you're not going to use it, then like I don't know what to tell you if you replace it with nothing.
Yeah.
I think this book could be adapted in a really interesting way where a lot of these adaptations don't touch the second generation of this book, when if you maybe started from the second generation and worked your way back.
That's an interesting idea.
You started
That's an interesting
like
idea.
you started from the
Yeah.
cursed and you trace it back to the curse. The
You
people,
started from her haunting them.
so because like basically it ends up like he's abusing his children.
Yeah.
Because he hates them because
Yes.
they are Kathy's.
Kathy's.
And so you go from nobody wants Heathcliff to be this evil where he's abusing children. Right. Like they're villainizing him. This was a love story, which it isn't. So it's like, I think it would be interesting to trace it back from like that abuse, from that, like those kids back to like the original curse and the ghost of Kathy, which would be way more interesting.
It'd be fun.
I don't know. I mean, in the book, he digs her up from her grave to check on her. And he says, well, she still looks hot, basically. You're not going to put that in your movie? That's like the creepiest fucking thing. If I'm reading this book, I'm taking all the creepy fucking things out, and those are what I'm doing.
I'm heightening all of them.
Yeah, exactly.
There's a cut in industry that
Instead, she's
made
just
me-
bleeding out like from the pig blood, this blood, you know, like... Sorry, going.
Well, there was
Back
a
to
cut
industry?
Well, no, I'm bringing it for a real purpose.
No,
but
I
there's a cut in
understand.
industry that I found like really clever and sexy and just like gross enough, where I was like, that's a sort of thing that I wish would have been in Wuthering Heights.
What?
Marissa Abella is about to go down on Kiernan Shipka, and you see like Kiernan Shipka has like her ass up, and then like Marissa Abella is like lowering
Corinne
her.
Shipka naked on TV.
She has a sex scene that's very consequential, and she's like fucking Kit Harington from Game of Thrones, and Yasmin's watching, and then Yasmin wants to participate, and it is implied by like the gesture of Yasmin Marissa Abella's face that she's about to go down on Kieran Shipka, but instead of showing that, they instantly cut to the next morning when Marissa Abella is eating oysters, and then she goes. And it like, but the cut is really, really funny.
That's
and I'm
obvious.
like, that's fun. Like,
obvious.
But that's the sort of thing that like you would expect. That's what the trailer of Wuthering Heights made me think it was going to be like. And it wasn't like that, you know?
I just am like, the way that I feel about how I keep being like, in the book this, in the book that, I wouldn't care about that if the movie was good. And I keep thinking like, no, it doesn't have to be like the book. It could be whatever. She can do whatever she wants. Yeah. That's what's beautiful about books that are this old. You can adapt them and do whatever you want. There's been adaptations that are so different and they work so well. Clueless, you know, etc. The ones that we love the most. Why? Because they're good. And you excuse everything. When you adapt something and it's worse, not different, better, different, same, different, interesting, whatever. It's the reason why we criticize, oh, well, the book did this and you didn't do that. It's because it was bad, like because it didn't do anything. Yeah. Because it didn't actually take it in any direction.
It's like, what is the version of Emma that you love? Emma period.
Emma period.
That's a cool like.
Oh, I love Emma period.
Twist that is still grounded in something like
it doesn't have to be
recognizable.
Gwyneth Paltrow's Emma is really good too. I mean, it doesn't have, it can be similar and work, it can be different and work. It's just a matter of like, this one doesn't work, similar or different. It doesn't work at all for me. Like I really just like don't think that it works.
It didn't work for me. I did think what's her name who played Isabel was like,
what did you think about giving her the agency of like being like in a BDSM, consensual BDSM?
Because in the book, she doesn't want to be there.
She literally writes a little letter that's like, "Help me."
Yeah, in the book,
save me.
And I thought that I was like, that is a shocking, interesting twist when you go in there and she's like a willing participant, and Heathcliff's like abuse. Right, where it's not really abuse in the movie, but in the book it's like abuse.
He literally gets her consent in the movie, which is again a twist. It's
a twist. It's weird. But it's kind of interesting.
Sure, but it's modern. It's very modern,
and it's like that's an interesting twist. Like there are certain ideas that she had that I think were interesting.
Sure, but no man back then was being like, "Let me get your consent to be in this like BDSM relationship or whatever." We're like, "I just used you."
But I thought that was clever. And I also think that like her performance, who's the actress whose name I forgot. I'm sorry.
Allison Oliver.
I thought that she was on the right level for whatever Emerald Fennell was trying to do. I thought that she was kooky, serious, sexy, like
she was doing Mia Goth.
Naive. She was doing Mia Goth
in
I think
Emma
better
period.
than Mia Goth.
No, Mia Goth is GOAT.
And then I also think that the person who played Kathy's dad was also like approaching a certain like vibe that I wish the movie had fully embraced. Also, I think Hong Chow too, because Hong Chow's character, she's good at playing both sides, but you're never quite sure what her intentions are and what her motives are. She's good at being a little sinister. And
she was the villain.
A lot of the performances seemed like they were in different movies, and that bothered me. A friend of mine who loves the book, my friend Rachel.
Yeah, of course.
Her favorite book. She's read it a million times. She loves Wuthering Heights.
Wow.
She texted me. She was like, "Have you seen the new Wuthering Heights? Would I like it?" And I was like, "I don't know that you would like it." She was like, "Should I see it?"
Of course.
And I was like, "You should absolutely see it."
Are you kidding me?
I was like, "If you love this book, you should see it because I think you'll enjoy thinking about it."
You got to see every adaptation of a book that you love. Are you kidding? It's like a
I'm
gift.
not out here being like, "Don't fucking see this piece of shit."
No, I would not. I'm never saying don't see something that's causing the conversation. I would always say you got to see the conversation.
Gotta have the conversation.
You got to know what everyone's talking about. You got to go see it. Like maybe Pedro Pascal will be there.
Yeah. Speaking of conversations, though,
I need you guys to talk about the America's Next Top Model docuseries that just came out. I just finished it. Hi. I have so many thoughts. I mean, I think from what, like, the general consensus is online, Tyra comes across horribly, and just, like, very inauthentic and not taking responsibility for really anything. Obviously, as, like, someone who watched it all go down as, like, a child, going back through like the cycles was wild, and the things they did. Obviously, this has been a couple years now that people have been like relitigating America's Next Top Model and all of the crazy, absurd shit that they did. I mean, I feel like there was definitely things that I wish there were more of, like more contestants who participated and stuff like that, but I'm curious your guys' thoughts. Also, of course, there was a Rita Ora mention. I completely forgot that she replaced Tyra, and that Tyra was actually fired. So yeah, I feel like you guys would watch it, and it's only 3 episodes. So please do and talk about it, and I would just love to hear anything and everything you have to say about our Smize and Dream creator and tyrant. Okay, crunch crunch.
Hey, Lindsay Bobby and your child, Timmy, will forever be my favorite Call You're Doing Amazing, sweetie. I wanted to ask about the America's Next Top Model America's Next Top Model show. Please add me to the montage. That's what I was trying to say, America's Next Top Model montage. Because I was watching it, like many other Who Weekly listeners, going, let me turn on my Lindsay Weber media literacy here. Tyra's in the dock. It's clearly, you know, produced by Tyra or something, favorable to Tyra, clever for her, for like getting ahead of things. But it's still legitimately, I feel, painted her in a horrific light. And if anything more, because she was in it, just like absolutely delusional. And I'm just really interested in where this lies in your spectrum from Taylor Swift Eras Tour, you know, I'm producing every single second of this, to genuine old school expose docs. Please tell me what I should be thinking about this. Thanks. What's popping these days?
A lot of calls about America's Next Top Model, with good reason. I think the documentary was better than I thought it would be. I wish it had been even better, but it is harrowing and upsetting and actually indicts Tyra and blames her for a lot of the problems. She refuses to accept her responsibility for anything.
Terrible.
And comes off terribly. But when I saw that she was involved, my gut reaction was, well, then this is just going to gloss over everything that she did wrong. But it doesn't. So I was impressed by that. But I think the way that everyone sort of says, like, it was all Tyra's fault, the end, got a little boring to me. And I was like...
Well, Ken Mock was there and he was getting a lot of flack.
It still felt a little oversimplified, despite the fact that I was compelled the entire time. And like, damn, Tyra is acting crazy and refuses to acknowledge any of this and keeps trying to pass the buck.
I was pretty disgusted the entire time. I actually had a really hard time watching it. I found it to be compelling in a way that made me feel gross. And then I kind of felt like...
Yeah, you were like, I feel sick.
I was like feeling really sick.
Yeah.
I mean, I also just like felt really sick watching a lot of the like
stuff with
footage
Shandy.
from it was really... Yeah, and the Shandy stuff was disgusting. And I mean, that's like the number one indictment of the entire thing, which is just like, you know, they all kind of are like... Yep, that was the show. Yeah. That was the story. That was narrative. Like, that was reality TV. Like, that's why we followed her into the shower, because if you're in the bathroom alone, that's one thing. But if you're in the bathroom with somebody else, yeah. And now Shandy's like, I'm fucked up forever because of this, basically. And then she had me on her talk show to like have to talk about it again. Like, I just am like...
And I said, please don't play it. And she played it anyway.
It's really just like more about the responsibility of these people in terms of reality TV. I mean, I already thought Tyra was like out to lunch, like in terms of mentally just like fully like not a real person. And and this really just drove that home. And like, this really makes her seem like a very like opportunistic, and like the kind of drilling of the like, we change things. It's like, I don't think you actually change things. Watching this, I'm like, time would have changed these things.
Times were changing things.
Time is progressive.
You didn't make it better for model. Like,
no.
Your 3 success stories, which she refers to, it's like Winnie Harlow, what's her name, Whitney, whatever. Your success stories that you point to aren't because of the show.
No,
they're
it's
because
crazy.
of the industry.
No, it's crazy. And like her insisting that they like change the way that people looked at models of color and like model plus size models or curve models or whatever is absolutely crazy to me.
Especially when you have the actual firsthand accounts from the plus size models and the models of color who were like, I was treated terribly on this show.
After this, and actually gave me a bad reputation, and like nobody want, like I'm just like, it's so and Tyra just like, she looks so bad. She just looks so bad. Like, and every word she says is disingenuous. Like, it's crazy. And I don't think that's because like they're making her look bad. I think she
made herself look bad.
Looks terrible.
The tea that I am a little intrigued by, because it really did upset me, was the models who were going on saying, well, I'll get to that, but like the models saying that like these contestants were happy to be on it to like share their truths about what happened, and they weren't paid. And it's like, you shouldn't be paid for a documentary. But then they found out that Tyra, Nigel, Jay, and Miss J were paid. And it's like, that also really pisses me off. I understand that those people wouldn't have done it otherwise, but it's like, I think the documentary still would have worked without them. I believe those contestants, like the fact that they felt like they had to pay them pissed me off.
Concerning this Netflix documentary, I just saw a video from Giselle from season 1 of Top Model, and she says that they didn't pay any of the girls. But the rumor is they paid the judges, and they told the girls that if they paid them money, that it might be perceived that they were swaying them to say certain things. And I'm like, same old shit, different day. Nothing changes. Just a bunch of producers using and abusing reality TV contestants.
Those contestants, the former contestants, have been speaking out for a long time, and that's all been written about. And the idea that for this to be newsworthy, for this to be anything new, they needed like other voices. Exactly. So it's like, in my opinion, it was like they needed them to make it worth.
Yeah.
I think it probably would have been a better documentary without Tyra, because with Tyra there, it was all shoved to her and then she answered for it.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
But if she wasn't there, it actually would be more interesting, and maybe they could have a more interesting conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, she would still be the person they're all shoving it on. But the only useful thing she says the entire time, which is, again, makes her out to seem like literally the devil, was that when she says something like, I think that they still think to this day that I fired them when it really was my boss. And like, I was also on the cutting line, whatever. Like, she was like, they really, and that's sad that they think that it was me. That's sad.
But bosses have bosses. And the big boss was very clear. There are no sacred cows. And I heard that meaning you too, Tyra. So pick up the phone and do what I'm telling you to do. And the thing is, I don't believe that they knew that it came from above. No matter how much Ken and I were explaining this was not our decision, to this day, I think they think that it was me and Ken.
But also, I didn't care about that. Like, am I callous? The fact that, oh no, these 3 people got fired after being on a show for like 15 years. I'm just like, that is how television works. The show wasn't doing well, so they fired people and tried to rework it.
The idea that it was like she owed them something
I was just sort of like, after I have seen all of the horrors that this show has done to these women on the show, you expect me to care that like, oh no, 3 people got fired from their longtime job. I was just sort of like, this sob story is not equal to the sob stories of Ebony, of Shandy, of all of these
course
people.
not. But I think it's like the idea that even these puppet masters were fucked over by the system is supposed to play into how the entire show is predatory.
Yeah.
And and what they didn't really explore, and maybe would have been it's more interesting to talk about, where it's like, and they got into this briefly, where like, nowadays, if you're on reality TV, you benefit so much more. You get followers.
I love that.
You can be an influencer. You can use your platform that you have to do stuff, to sell stuff, to make money, whatever it is, right? It doesn't matter. Back then, there was no social media. There was no platform. There was no way for people to follow you. It was just negative. It was just a negative thing. We talk about this in our book, actually. Like, this is we have a whole chapter about like reality TV and the changing nature of celebrity, right? And it's like, it used to just be like you were on TV and then you went away forever, right? Now you get to be on TV and you can like sell that as
for
like
years and years and years.
Exactly. So like, these girls didn't get to do that, right? Why is Winnie Harlow a successful model after ANTM? Because of social media. It's not because of ANTM.
She was on ANTM much later.
Much later. Exactly. Like, when there was like Instagram and Twitter and all that stuff. So it's like, that's the difference. Those are things that they allude to but don't really speak about, right? Like, that's what's crazy. It's so sad if anything, what I think this documentary gets at, which I think we're obsessed with, is and I say this because every fucking time Spencer Pratt does any sort of press tour, he reiterates how fake that show was, and people are just gobbling it up like they didn't know it already, which is crazy to me. It's like, we've done this so many times. But the idea that, they're choosing the bad photos. Which
was obvious if you watched it.
Yeah.
Which was so obvious.
They're choosing the bad photos. They're setting models up for having emotional catharsis by not feeding them, by the one that was like, my mother died from gun violence and they made me play a gun violence victim in a photo shoot. That was brutal.
And she was like, I didn't really think about that until later. She was like, at the time I thought maybe they were doing it to help me, but looking back, they were doing it because
to literally
they wanted
make
to
me
manipulate
break.
me and make me have a bad time.
And then they were like, you actually have no emotion in this picture, wonder why. Just stuff like that, where they made the model that they were calling fat all the time play gluttony.
Yeah.
The teeth gap thing. And I mean, you really have to be impressed by the foresight of a lot of these women. A lot of them spoke out against it, like at the time, like in the show, I'm not doing this, right? And it totally reframes the Tiffany thing.
But because of moments like those, it shows that everyone is complicit in this. It's not just Tyra. And so I was like, I understand that Tyra does come across as a villain, but like the documentary was much too willing to let Jay and Nigel and Ken kind of pass the buck to Tyra. It was really bothering me. I was like, you have access to all these people. Why aren't you grilling them more?
Right. I think Mr. J does do a lot of reflection.
He basically says he didn't get bad until the end. It wasn't until the end. When he's like, the producers didn't start choosing bad photos until the end. I was like, I don't believe you, Jay.
Yeah.
I don't believe it.
I do also believe that Miss J was kind of clocked out of a lot of the decision, because it feels like
Miss J,
she was more of a performer, more of a like TV performer versus the Mr. J, who was like, I was very involved in like creative.
I want to be famous.
Ready to level up? Chumba Casino is your playbook to fun. It's free to play with no purchase necessary. Enjoy hundreds of online social games like blackjack, slots, and solitaire anytime, anywhere with fresh releases every week. Whether you're at home or on the go, let Chumba Casino bring the excitement to you. Plus, get free daily login bonuses and a free welcome bonus. Join now for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. Play Chumba Casino today. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. T&Cs apply.
Well, the holidays have come and gone once again, but if you've forgotten to get that special someone in your life a gift, well, Mint Mobile is extending their holiday offer of half off unlimited wireless. So here's the idea. You get it now, you call it an early present for next year. What do you have to lose? Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Limited time 50% off regular price for new customers. Upfront payment required. $45 for 3 months, $90 for 6 months, or $180 for 12-month plan. Taxes and fees extra. Speeds may slow after 50 gigabytes per month when network is busy. See terms.
When you think about meal kit companies, what do you see? Probably long, complicated recipes and subscriptions you can't escape. But with the new Blue Apron, we're doing meal delivery differently. No subscription needed. Faster, easier meals. And the same dedication to quality we've always had. Shop 100+ meals at blueapron.com. Get 50% off your first 2 orders with code APRON50. Terms and conditions apply. Visit blueapron.com/terms for more.
I want to be famous.
I was also completely like heartbroken over the fact that Miss J, I mean, I'll get to a stroke in a second, but when Miss J is like, oh, I love Tyra. Like, I knew Tyra forever and I taught Tyra. And then Tyra is essentially like ripping off Miss J's vibe.
For real.
And I'm sure there's a lot of resentment over like Tyra assuming, and once again, like drag queens kind of always get their aesthetics and their language ripped off by other people.
Miss J taught me how to walk.
I've known Tyra since she was 16.
He was the first person I called. Hey, oh my God. He was just this like godfather, mother, diva extraordinaire. He was the real deal.
But of course, then Miss J says in the 3rd episode, I had a stroke in 2022 and Jay came to visit, Nigel came to visit.
Yeah, of course.
I never heard anything from Tyra.
Right. Well, did you? But also, it was so sad. It was like, yeah, like, oh, she texted me like she wants to come see me. I mean, I just think like she's a Looney Tune.
A lot of the problem I have with the documentary is like the slickness, how every episode begins with like a sizzle reel of what's to come. And I'm just like, I hate that aesthetic. It's like on this, like, you won't believe. And I was like, the way that this feels a little exploitative as well was leaving a bad taste in my mouth. Like it didn't seem serious, even though there was some serious stuff covered. That turned me off. And it was clear, I was texting with someone else about this last night, and he was like, Also the title. They want to make it a series.
Yeah, it's a modern documentary in the way that true crime podcasts exist, where it's this like glossy regurgitation of the story versus being like a real documentary, like the documentary about To Catch a Predator, like Predators, which is like that's a real documentary, right? Like it's not a series, it's not episodic. They come in many different styles, but this is a very specific genre of true crime documentary. You see them on HBO.
Okay. The people who made this, I was like, what have they
else
made
did
before?
they make? Yeah.
The only thing that I'd seen that they made before was the Murdoch Murders documentary that was on HBO like 4 years ago. And I was like, I watched that and it wasn't good. It was rushed out to like catch the wave of the Murdoch thing. And this felt really rushed to me.
They rush. That's the thing. It's like, so I was reading some terrible profile and there was a reference. I'm not even gonna say what, because I'm like mad I read it. There's a reference to like a Hulu documentary crew on like a meme character is like a Hulu documentary crew is like trying to capture them or whatever. And it's like, that's because they try and make this stuff before the story is even unfolded. They're like
Nick Reiner, their true story,
like
a day after
exactly.
their murder.
They're like, get on it, right? Like get on it now. And it's like, yeah, that's gonna be like a shitty first look shit ass, like the Iowa murders, that documentary that came out that was like
one of them was good and one of them was bad.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's just like, it's the industry. Right?
And there was good stuff in there. I think there was a lot of like, it was interesting to talk about like how at the time this is just what the culture was, and the culture was so toxic towards women, and heroin chic was a thing. Like all of that is referenced in this, but I feel like in a better documentary we would have been given more context and we would have been given more incisive questioning to the people who were there. You know, like, yes, that show was evil in retrospect. And yes, Tyra behaved badly, but also the modeling industry as a whole was evil, filled with people behaving badly. She was reflecting a larger industry. Like, I'm not excusing her. Obviously, she made huge mistakes making that show, but I'm like, the show should have explored the fact that she was a product of an industry that was awful and is awful. And I think a smarter documentary would have allowed us to sort of sit with that a little more.
Well, she has moments where she's like, I wanted these girls to be working in this industry, and to work in this industry, I was told these certain things, and I did repeat them to the girls, and blah, blah, blah. Like, I was told that she would never work with a gap in her teeth. So that's what I said to her. You'll never work, like, I was only saying things that I was told, right? Like, and it was the product of the time, right? Like a gap in your teeth back then was not acceptable. Now now it would be something that would be like individuality would be really cool. Like I think there's something there. She says that in a way, but doesn't actually say that or really own it.
I think a better documentary would have made you more uncomfortable, because I think a better documentary would have made you almost empathize with her.
Tyra.
Right.
Of course.
I think a better documentary would have made you say like, damn, she sucks. And
also, you're telling me Janice Dickinson didn't want to sit for this documentary?
Crazy
she definitely
that Janice Dickinson
She definitely did. She definitely wanted to sit for this. That's crazy. I'm sorry. It's just like, that's not
But
true.
I also think the Janice Dickinson conversation was interesting too. That was underexplored, where it's like Janice Dickinson was a huge fucking asshole to all those people, because I'm sure she had a career of people, particularly men, being huge fucking assholes to her.
But that's why
I bet
she worked,
reveled in the fact that she could be an asshole to other people.
So well in that show was where she was like this almost antithesis to Tyra Banks. Like Tyra Banks' supermodel career and Janice Dickinson's supermodel career were so different, right? Like they both came from like different worlds of that, right? Like that's why it works so well, the dichotomy, and how they often got into a fight about stuff because Janice was so brash about like the way that modeling is. And it's like, and if anything, Tyra was kind of progressive compared to Janice, and like they could have, I mean, that could have been interesting, right? Like old school versus new school. I mean, the whole thing was just like underbaked, but also just like very effectively disgusting in a way that like, I guess works. Like it did work.
It got me. I watched the whole thing.
I mean, I just cannot believe that Tyra agreed to do it. I mean, it just shows her
either.
delusion. She doesn't care. At the end, she teases it's coming back. There's no fucking way. That's evil. It's literally, it's evil. The way that she's like, can't wait for cycle 25 or whatever.
It shows how completely out to lunch she is.
Yeah, she's
not
really,
even delusional, just
she's
like
out of her mind.
You have no idea what we have planned for cycle 25.
Did you notice that when they're like, okay, so we fire JJ Nigel? Another thing they didn't mention was like, yeah, they fired JJ and Nigel, but they brought Miss J back at some point.
They did.
Miss J came back, and whatever, that's fine. That's splitting hairs, but after that reiteration of America's Next Top Model doesn't work, I never watched that era at all. After that didn't work,
the Rita era,
they brought in the Rita era.
Yeah.
And they're like, and then they got a new host. They show her.
Rita.
You never. They never say the name Rita Ora.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I thought one of them would say, and then we brought in Rita Ora. No one says
Not
the
one.
name Rita Ora. And I was
No.
like, that's so weird. It's been number one on Netflix. Every time I've logged on to Netflix for the past 5 days, I think people are watching it. I think it's harrowing. I think it is good, and that it's making people like
It's definitely harrowing.
reconsider the shit, the slop, including myself, that you just like lapped up 20 years ago and didn't think twice about.
I mean, that show, like, it really was, it was good because it was bad. Like, that's the whole thing. It's like, it was entertaining.
Yeah.
Not like good for the world, like,
good for the
essentially.
world.
I don't know. I mean, I just feel like when they're asking them all at the end, like, was it worth it? Would you do it again? And they're still kind of like, maybe or whatever, or really like, not like, no. They're not like, no.
One of the models says something like, I would, but I wouldn't. You know what I mean? She
Yeah.
says something like that.
Yeah.
With everything you went through, would you ever do top model again?
I would say do it at your own risk.
Of course, I'd love to do something like that again, but not do that again, if you know what I mean.
It didn't age well, but it was also a reflection of the time. That's exactly how it was. The only reason the door was open to me was because of Tyra.
I do feel like Tyra's intentions in the beginning were good, but that shit got lost.
And then meanwhile, Shandy, oh God, Shandy's story.
Harrowing.
The story where Shandy's like, oh yeah, I was assaulted on camera. And it was framed as like a joke.
Mm-hmm.
And then she says something like, my dream is just literally to like live in the woods and
work
have a
with
lot of
animals.
animals.
Yeah.
I like the montage of all the women being like, and now I do this, like I work this nonprofit and I
Yeah.
help people and
I
it's so
make
much
ice
more
cream.
satisfying. I make ice cream and I
Yeah.
made ice cream before Tyra Banks made ice cream. I loved that. Like,
Yeah.
like there were certain moments where I was like, this is good, but you know.
Yeah, I mean, it was just like really affected me in a way that I was like fully disgusted the entire time. Shout out to that documentary for giving me that gift.
We hope you enjoyed that Patreon preview. If you want to subscribe, go to patreon.com/whoweekly for bonus episodes, the Discord server, commentary tracks, and more. You can also get the audio only that you just heard on Apple Podcasts. Just click subscribe within the app. We'll see you on Friday, Sunday, if you subscribe, and then back to normal, regularly scheduled programming next Tuesday. Bye.
See ya.
Hey, hey, I want to be famous.